I was probably 19 or 20 years old, a young adult, during the summer, a day off. I was at my parents' house, which was out in the country. And for some reason, I decided it was a good day for a walk. Not just a walk, but a walk, an extended walk. So I left probably mid-morning. It was not like well planned that I was going to leave early. And I went down the side road, which was headed north. And I walked a while, not sure where I was headed, but I went past some wooded areas that I was familiar with, and then went farther, went to the end of the road, and I zigged to the right, going east. And then eventually I went more north again, and then east and north. And somewhere along the way, I decided that I was going to walk to the neighboring town, which is Cloverdale. A nice little town, quiet place. Coincidentally, about 7 miles from where my parents lived. Just like Emmaus, 7 miles away. So I did. I walked to Cloverdale. And I got there. There's a little Catholic church there. I probably stopped in, but I don't really remember. But by that point, I wanted to have something to eat. And I really didn't know if anything was open in Cloverdale. I don't to this day know if there's any place open. But I knew there was a little ice cream place, soft serve, sort of like a Dairy Queen type place, in the neighboring town to the west, Mandale. And it was only 4 more miles. Everybody walks 4 miles for an ice cream cone. So I headed west from Cloverdale. And I got to Mandale, a really, really big town. Maybe a dozen houses, something like that. But the Dairy Queen place was open. I had an ice cream cone. By this time, I was a good distance from my parents' house, and I thought I should head home. And there's a direct route, Highway 66. But I didn't really want to walk along the highway. I didn't think that was safe. So as I thought it through, the best route would be to go even farther away, to go west another mile, get on a parallel road, and take that south, which is what I did. And eventually I got back to the road where my parents lived, and I had to head the rest of the way back. I figured it's 20 or 25 miles altogether that I walked that day. And I will admit that towards the end, I was getting tired. I was tempted to stop, but I decided just keep on going. In fact, that became my mantra. Keep on going, keep on going. Several people stopped and offered me a ride. I said, no, it's right down the road. Keep on going. That night at dinner table, I sat down with Mom and Dad, and Mom said, well, what'd you do today? And I said, I went out for a little walk. And then I told them how far I had walked, and it became a topic of some good conversation. Those who know me know that I love to walk. I still walk a lot, but not usually 20 miles. They may also know that for me, walking is not just exercise or something to do. It's really a metaphor for life. I love the psalm response we sang. Lord, you will show me the path of life. There's always a path. There's always a journey to be taken. We need to move on it. And so it's for that reason that you should not be surprised that I'm totally enamored with this gospel passage that I just read. The disciples walking the road to the town Emmaus. We don't really know why they were walking. Was that where they were from? Were they running away from Jerusalem? Were they afraid? Was it just one stop on the way somewhere else? We don't really know. But that was their present destination for the time being, at least. They were walking the road. But think about it. They were walking. The Lord himself joins them. It was not uncommon if you walked the road, people would walk together and talk. And then you have that wonderful conversation. If you really think about it, this was the Mass. If the Last Supper was the first Mass, this was the second Mass. Because as they walked the road, Jesus broke open the Scriptures. It was the liturgy of the Word, the first half of Mass. The liturgy of the Word. He talked about the Scriptures. He talked about what they meant. And he explained it to them. Then when they finally got to Emmaus, they sat down and that wonderful, wonderful image of Jesus taking the bread, blessing it, breaking it, and they recognized him in the breaking of the bread. The second half of Mass, the liturgy of the Eucharist. Now, it's interesting, those same disciples that were so discouraged and so depressed, walking away from Jerusalem, suddenly jumped up and probably ran back to Jerusalem with great joy. We have seen the Lord. He walked with us. Were not our hearts burning within us as he explained the scriptures? I think of life as a journey. I certainly think of faith as a journey. In RCIA every year, I say to the people in RCIA, it's a journey of faith. And every journey has several components. There's the destination. There might be the short-term destination for me to go to Cloverdale, and then the next one was the ice cream cone, and then a destination of finding a road that was safe to walk back. But there's always a destination. There's a route. And sometimes the route is pretty direct. Often it's circuitous. Sometimes we get off the road, and who knows where we might end up. Every journey usually has the actual image of journeying itself. Keep on going, keep on going. And sometimes we want to just stand still. We want to stop and rest. But it calls us, it beckons us on. Every journey requires us to look at the sights along the way. I don't know if there were many sights between Jerusalem and Emmaus, but there were plenty of insights. Internally, they saw a lot of things in a new way. And of course, every journey has a companion. Sometimes if you walk alone, the companion are your own thoughts, maybe the presence of the Lord as you meditate. But we can also have Jesus as the companion. I love the word companion. It comes from the two Latin words, cum panis, with bread. The companion is the one who breaks bread with us, the one who shares bread with us, the one who walks with us on our life's journey. The companion is the way that we are remembering that we are not alone. Jesus is the ultimate companion. So as we come together today, we realize our faith is a journey. We are going somewhere. It might be short-term goals that become bigger ones. And as life unfolds, we realize we have to be ready for what's going to come next, and that we don't have to face it alone. We have a companion. I'd like to say a word to those who have been watching from home on a regular basis for about 6 or 7 weeks now. First of all, the journey continues to unfold. We don't know where it's taking us. We're in for the long distance and not just for a little bit. Thank you for continuing to make commitment, and it is necessary. And sometimes we have new insights along the way. Remember, we're not traveling alone. We are companions to each other as well. But then I'd also like to speak to those who are maybe discovering the significance of faith in their life. Maybe through this time of lockdown, and it's not really a lockdown, but it feels that way, social distancing, we are discovering that we are asking the bigger, more fundamental questions of life. You know, what's it really about? What's going to keep us going? Are we just walking because we want to find an ice cream cone? Or are we looking for something that's going to really make a prolonged difference in our life? I welcome you and I thank you, but I ask you to keep on going. Let that be your mantra. Let the journey of faith unfold before you. We all discover that there is a destination, a wonderful destination. Jesus calling us to come to know him more fully, to see him in the breaking of the bread. That's the final destination. Till then, we hope that we walk with each other, with one another, and with the Lord as our ultimate traveling companion.